Theory cashing in his Money in the Bank. There's been a little bit to add to that here. So after Theory failed to cash in his Money in the Bank on Monday Night Raw, the main consensus from fans was that Triple H was burying him. Theory finally broke his silence on Tuesday, posting a seemingly positive tweet, "I'll never stop, and that's all day." My question is Triple H actually burying Austin Theory, or is there more to the plan here that we don't actually know about? And what I will tell you guys is I'm going to stick to this idea that Theory basically had no path forward that worked with the Money in the Bank briefcase. I stated yesterday, and I'll kind of go on record today, there was a plan behind what happened. Now, I don't think it translated well. I don't think it came off the way Triple H wanted it to come off. I really do believe Triple H was trying to beat into our heads as fans that the United States title is now the secondary major title. I think for the foreseeable future, we are not splitting up the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship. So that title is one title. And I think that Triple H wants us to believe as fans that the United States title is number two. I think that he thought by having Theory try to cash in his Money in the Bank on that title, that it would make us feel like, oh, that's a legitimate major title. That if Theory is willing to cash in his briefcase, that has to be a major title. If we look at Theory, though, he seems to be in good spirits. It doesn't seem like he's disgruntled. He doesn't seem mad at management. I think Theory knows he's on a collision course that heads to WrestleMania 39 in a match against John Cena. And like I said yesterday, and I'll reiterate this today, I just don't think that Theory winning any of the titles is a bigger push for him in his career than him ultimately going over John Cena at WrestleMania. I think, to me, that is a bigger accomplishment. I think it will be seen in the long term as a bigger accomplishment. And I think that right now we will begin to see the rebuilding of Austin Theory. We'll begin to see the rebuilding of his character, because now, as long as he held that Money in the Bank briefcase, he couldn't be seen as too credible of a threat to people like Roman Reigns, because then we would start asking too many questions. So I think now that they get the Money in the Bank briefcase out of his hand, I believe you'll start to see a little bit of a push for Austin Theory, less of a burying, and we'll start to see them rebuild his character around the idea that it's moving towards Theory and Cena at WrestleMania. I don't think that he's out of the United States title picture by any means. I think that he'll stick around. I think he could have multiple matches with Seth Rollins. I think especially without holding that briefcase, he just becomes more dangerous and more unpredictable. He was a little bit of a goofball when he was holding the briefcase, and I think now we can start to rebuild him in the way that we all kind of want Austin Theory to be built. I think that Vince McMahon did more harm than good for Austin Theory. When Austin Theory first made his call up to the WWE roster, I think there was a lot of potential there, and I think a lot of people who didn't watch NXT were surprised by his athleticism, his look, his gimmick. It all worked, and then Vince kind of took him under his shoulder, or under his arm, under his wing, and it kind of created this antagonist feeling towards him, where it was like, oh, this is the chosen one. We don't really want to get behind this. This is another Roman Reigns. They're going to shove him down our throat. And so I think Triple H is having to go back and kind of undo the last year of Austin Theory that might have got him a little bit off track. I did see that Baron Corbin took to Twitter and invited Austin Theory to join the failed Money in the Bank club with him and John Cena, which I thought was funny. A lot of you guys yesterday, when I posted the question on TikTok and I asked, was it the worst cash-in of all time? It was split between, yes, this was the worst cash-in of all time, and no, Baron Corbin had the worst cash-in of all time. I tend to side on the Baron Corbin. I think that while this was a little bit confusing, I don't know that this was wrong. I just think that the way the language and the way they portrayed this, I don't think it came off the way Triple H intended it to come off. I think, though, in the moment, while it felt like a bad cash-in, I think probably post WrestleMania 39, when we look back and we look at the course that Theory takes after this event of a failed cash in, I think we'll look back and go, this was probably what was best at the time for business.